If your DJing feels delayed,
Oh yeah.
your stems sound like trash,
Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air.
the problem isn't you, it's your DJ settings. Bad sounding stems, for example, can be easily fixed by simply adjusting this.
Put your hands up in the air. Put your hands up in the air.
And your DJing can instantly feel responsive by just adjusting this here. But it gets even worse. The initial DJ interface is useless. So instead of looking bland like this, with just a few clicks, you can access cheat mode and know exactly when and where to mix and what the perfect next song is. So in this video, whether you use CDJs or controllers, I'm gonna show you the best Rekordbox DJ, Serato DJ, and even CDJ settings 90% of DJs still don't know about. So we'll start with Rekordbox DJ, then move into Serato DJ, and wrap things up by covering CDJs and club mixers. But if you don't have any DJ gear, don't worry. I'm giving away this limited edition DDJ FLX4. So to win this, just like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment below. The winner will be contacted by this specific email. Before we jump into changing our software settings, let's first maximize the interface we're already working with so that we can easily do cool DJ tricks like this. So starting at the top, make sure your effects panel is visible. Next, head over to the CFX tab. By default, it's set to filter, which means your CFX knob will only control the standard filter effect. But did you know you can actually change this to be noise? Which now in turn enables you to do cool tricks like this. But you're not limited to noise. There are variety as well. So to access these CFX options, press User, choose your desired CFX effect, and this is very important, make sure it's actually activated by confirming the effect is highlighted. But as for me, I prefer Filter. Next, turn on Master Tempo. This keeps your track's pitch consistent even when you adjust the track's tempo. Next, set your tempo range to +10%. This is a great balance because it gives you enough flexibility to match tempos without making the pitch control too sensitive. Now here are a few optional tweaks. If you want to change your screen layout, click here and choose your preferred view. I personally keep mine at 2-deck horizontal. And finally, this is up to you, but activate Quantize if you need help with your timing with cueing your songs in or in making precise loops. And here it is disabled. Keep in mind that you don't need to have Quantize on all the time. There will be situations when you DJ when it's actually preferable to keep it off, so use this setting whenever you need to. Now, for me, I typically keep mine on when I DJ electronic music or when I make loops. With that done, let's transform my interface from this to something way more functional and useful like this. Now this pro level layout helps us see exactly when and where to mix thanks to the phrase display. Plus, it also makes it easier to identify the most optimal tracks to play next. This layout is basically DJing on cheat mode. So to achieve this setup, along with several quality of life improvements, there are 11 key changes we need to make. And it all starts by opening your settings right here. Number 1. Under View, disable tooltips. 2. Under Key Display Format, make sure alphanumeric is selected. This musical notation is super useful because it makes it incredibly easy for DJs to know which songs are harmonically compatible with each other. For example, this is trash harmonic mixing, and this is peak harmonic mixing. But the thing is, you still have to understand the meaning of these key notations to know what track combos sound the best, and nobody has time to study music theory. So in just a bit, I'll show you a hack you can do to instantly know the perfect next song. Anyway, let's move on. Number 3. Under Waveform Drawing Rate, select High Speed. 4. Under Traffic Light, make sure Related Key 2 is selected. This setting is crucial for the mix and key hack I'll show you. Anyway, moving on to Layout. Number 5. By default, most of the items in the media browser are selected, which can quickly clutter your interface. So I recommend only keeping the sources you actually use. For me, that's just Spotify. Later on, I'll show you how to stream music from Spotify using the best possible audio quality settings. Number 6. Under Browser Panel. This one is up to you, but for me, disable the options you don't plan to use. Now this next setting is the one that's going to help you mix perfectly every single time. Number 7. Under Phrases, make sure Phrase Full Waveform and Always Show Types of Phrases is selected. This setting allows you to see your track's phrases, so you'll know exactly when and where to mix. All you have to do now is trigger your next track right when the new phrase begins. But what's the point of knowing your track's phrases and sections if they're already missing intros and outros? Because most tracks DJs download start like this. And as DJs, we simply need more time to mix, so extended edits like this are way more preferable. So pro DJs like Skrillex, James Hype, and Martin Garrix download all their tracks from DJ record pools. And you can think of DJ record pools as huge libraries of music of all genres where DJs can download all the tracks they could ever need. And these high quality tracks can range from radio edits, to remixes, to instrumentals, to acapellas, and to tracks with extended intros and outros. So check the links down below for the best record pool deals right now and get a huge discount by using the coupon code DJ Carlo when you sign up. Let's move on to color. Under Appearance, dark mode is set by default. It's great for DJing at night or in dark environments since it's easier on the eyes. But if you're playing during the day or in bright settings, switching to light mode can make everything much clearer. For now, since I clearly don't touch grass, I'm keeping this in dark mode. Number 9. Under Waveform Color, the default 3-band looks sick and is useful, but I personally find it much easier to read waveforms when they're set to RGB. With RGB, the colors give you clearer visual information. Louder elements like kicks and bass lines usually show up in red, while lighter, more subtle elements appear in blue or green. Number 10. Finally, under Hot Hue Color, make sure Colorful is selected. And number 11, back at our layout, if you stream, make sure you're logged in. So click your streaming platform and log in. Now before we move on to the functional settings that'll make DJing and mashup mixing way easier and help you avoid disasters like this, let's take a crucial step that'll instantly make your DJ life smoother, knowing the best track to play next. So with our key settings already dialed in, the final step is to make sure the master button here is activated. Turning this on allows you to instantly see which tracks are perfect harmonic matches for the current song playing, and those compatible tracks will be highlighted in green. But the thing is, Rekordbox and Serato are notorious for not always detecting keys accurately. At the end of the day, they're DJ software, so their main specialty is DJing, not music analysis. So the app I personally use to make sure I get accurate key detection is Mixed In Key. Not only does it detect the accurate key and energy level of a track, it can also automatically set cue points for them. And this app works for every DJ software. So if you want to try it out and get a huge discount, check out the links below. Now that that's said, let's move on to the functional settings that'll seriously improve your DJ quality of life. By far the most important setting is this. Under Audio, make sure your buffer size is set to anything under 10 ms. If it's higher than that, your DJing can start to feel delayed like this, instead of tight and responsive like this. And this delay can really affect your timing.
Oh yeah.
Just keep in mind that the lower the buffer size, the harder your computer has to work. Setting it too low can cause glitches or audio dropouts if your system can't handle it. But if you're still experiencing delays even when you're under 10 ms, the issue might actually be your Mac slowing down. This can happen when your storage is full, when background processes are eating up your CPU, or when your system is cluttered with old cache files and junk. That's why one program I use to keep my Mac running smoothly is today's sponsor, Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac helps remove unnecessary files, clear system junk, and manage background processes so your Mac can run faster and more efficiently especially when you're running demanding DJ software. And as DJs, this actually matters a lot because our computers are constantly filled with music libraries, DJ software databases, stem files, recordings, and backups. And if you've been DJing for a while, you probably have thousands of tracks in Rekordbox DJ, Serato, old edits you got years ago, duplicate tracks from different record pools, and even multiple versions of the same song just sitting somewhere on your drive. So one feature I really like is Smart Care, which basically checks your Mac and cleans everything up in one click. So it clears system junk, optimizes performance, and reduces background strain so your computer stays fast without you having to constantly tweak settings. Another feature I personally use is My Clutter, which helps detect multiple files and similar tracks. So My Clutter scans your drive and quickly finds those duplicates so you can clean up your library and free up storage space without manually digging through thousands of files. And this for me is a lifesaver, especially as a DJ who always spins new music. And another feature I also use to make sure I always have space is Cloud Cleanup, which scans services like iCloud, Google Drive, or Dropbox and helps you find large files, duplicate stems, duplicate tracks, or old backups that are taking space in the cloud. So overall, instead of just troubleshooting your DJ software or blaming your gear, sometimes the real fix is simply optimizing your Mac so everything runs smoothly. So if you want to try it yourself, Clean My Mac has a 7-day free trial, and you can use my code DJ Carlo to get 20% off. Check the link in the bio. And with that said, let's get back to the video. Next, under Analysis, make sure you enable Use High Precision Beat Analysis. This helps ensure your beat rates are as accurate as possible. Next, under Track Analysis Settings, make sure all of these options are checked, especially phrase. Next, make sure Cloud Analysis and Radar Analysis are unticked and that Key Analysis is ticked. For analysis process, if you're running a strong machine, choose Performance for more accurate results. But if you want to play it safe, stick with Normal. Under Queue Analysis, this one's optional. But if you want the first beat of every track to automatically be set as a hot queue, go to Intelligent Queue Creation and make sure those two options are checked. I personally keep this on. To apply these analysis settings, simply right-click on a track, select Analyze, and make sure all of these analysis options are checked before proceeding. Now let's move on to the optimal controller settings. So first, make sure your controller is plugged in so that the correct options appear in your settings. With your unit plugged, your computer has the option to blast its audio. And if you're like me and use speakers, I would actually disable this feature here. Now under the controller section, go to Deck. For Eject/Load Lock, I recommend turning lock on if you want to be safe when you're DJing. So here's how this setting sounds like with it locked. And here it is unlocked. Moving on, under Load, make sure these two options are checked. The first setting ensures that every track loads exactly where you planned it, usually at the first hot queue or memory queue. The second is Instant Doubles. Instant Doubles is a feature that instantly loads the same track from one deck onto another deck at the exact same position and timing. Next, this one's fun. Under Touch/Break, it's set by default to do a hard stop. But if you want that classic vinyl break effect, just drag these two knobs to the 1 o'clock position. With this on, you can get creative and do tricks like this. Next, this one's optional, but if you enable continuous playing, your deck will automatically load and play the next track after the current one ends. And this is perfect for non-stop music or background sets. Now if you want to do professional sounding backspins, even if you use a controller, just go to these settings over here and tick this option. Here's a comparison between all three settings. Now here's a setting everyone always asks me about. Now by default, when you trigger a hot queue, it plays through like this. That can make precise mixing and quick cue triggering harder to control. Most pros prefer gate playback instead. So to enable this, go under Hot Cue and tick this setting here. Now, moving on to the mixer settings. Under EQ, make sure it's set to Isolator, as this gives you full control over a track's frequencies, allowing you to completely cut the lows, mids, or highs. Next, for crossfader curve, if you scratch, you want the setting to be here, but if you don't, leave this at the center. But since I scratch, I'm keeping this here. Furthermore, to get the sharpest cut, bring this setting all the way here. Now, if you use a crossfader, you gotta make sure they're activated. So simply press this and make sure these are highlighted. But if you don't, keep these disabled. This next one is very important and often overlooked. Let's move on to recording settings. When recording your mixes, for me, when I press record, that's when I want the recording to start, and when I press it again, that's when I want it to stop. Lastly, to adjust your quantize settings, click Others, and select your desired quantize setting over here. Now let's move on to the advanced settings. There are 4 important changes we need to make here, and the second one is by far the most important and the ones most DJs completely overlook. So first, go to Advanced, then Others. If you're using a streaming service, make sure your streaming audio quality is set to the highest setting available so you get the best possible sound quality. Now the second setting is the one most DJs completely overlook, and it makes a huge difference in the quality of your stems. First things first, we need to enable stems. So go to Extension, then Stems, and tick Enable the Stems function. Next, using stems on your Rekordbox DJ controller like the FLX10 and GRV6 is easy because those functions are already natively mapped. However, on the FLX4, they're not. But don't worry, here's the solution. Simply download my free stems map pack below and follow the video instructions. Once you've done that, you can activate and control your stems by doing this.
Let me see those hands, let me see those hands, let me see those hands, let me see them, come on!
Next, look for stems analysis process. Switch this to prioritize sound quality. The difference this makes is huge.
Put your hands up in the air. 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 Put your hands up in the air.
Third, if you have a powerful computer, make sure this memory option is enabled as well. And finally, this part is optional. But if you video mix, enable the video settings here. And if you plan to control lighting, make sure the lighting option is enabled as well. And last but not least, at your browser section, untick the parameters here that don't mean much to you. So for me, that's album and genre. Moving on, let's take a look at the best settings for Serato DJ Pro. On the main home screen, click here and allow Serato to show the following: BPM, bitrate, key, length, and plays. This way, you'll always know your track's BPM and key, as well as its quality and how often you've played a song. Now, if you're starting with Serato completely fresh, the most important setting to adjust is your audio latency. Heading into the Serato settings, open up the audio tab and drag your latency settings to 5 ms, because leaving it at 20 ms could lead to problems like this. Now, you could set it lower to get a tighter response, but 5 ms works perfectly fine for me, even with quick scratches and cuts. With that set up, let's enable some of Serato DJ Pro's most important features. First, enable Lock Playing Deck in the DJ Preferences tab. This ensures you don't accidentally load a different song onto an active deck like this. With Lock Playing Deck enabled, this happens. Second, enable hot cues so you can easily set hot cues using the 1 to 0 keys on your laptop. Third, enable track end warning so Serato warns you when your track is about to end. Fourth, show beat jump controls. With beat jump enabled, you can quickly hop through your tracks. Finally, with your controller connected, enable replace pad mode with stems to replace one of your primary pad modes with stems. This will allow you to instantly access Serato Stems pad mode on your controller, even if it doesn't have a dedicated Stems pad mode.
Ladies, leave those hands up. Now fellas, put your bands up. Ladies, leave those hands up. Fellas, put your bands up. Ladies, leave those hands up. Now fellas, put your bands up.
Right next to that, adjust your stop time to right about here to achieve a tight vinyl break sound when you stop a track. Lastly, enable auto gain so Serato balances all your track's volumes. Moving on to the on-song load section. First, check play from first cue point. Second, enable instant doubles so you can instantly duplicate your tracks like this with Serato following the same position of the track it was duplicated from. Third, toggle turn off effects so that you don't accidentally leave an effect on when switching tracks. Finally, turn on analyze stems so that Serato instantly analyzes your tracks for stems the moment you load it in. Now, activating this also consumes a good amount of processing power, so make sure your computer is up to the task. Now, for the best audio quality, make sure you set your recording to 24-bit and the file format to WAV. For those of you who use DVS, head into the CD/vinyl tab and toggle the anti-drift option. Moving on to the library and display tab. First, activate custom crate columns and include sub-crate tracks. This way, Serato will remember exactly how you arrange your crates, even when jumping through different ones. Next, under display, select EQ colored waveforms to allow Serato to adjust the waveform colors whenever you play around with the EQs.
Oh yeah.
Next, enable performance pad cue layout so Serato more closely mimics your controller's performance pad layout, and select Camelot as your shown key. Finally, if you use any streaming services, toggle show streaming services and select the ones you use here. Moving on to the mixer tab, navigate towards the crossfader section. For the sharpest cut, set this setting here. But if you prefer to mix smoothly, set this over here. Now back on the main screen, click here and change the layout to extended for the best view of your software. From here, when customizing your crates, you can now arrange different crates by color, add emojis to their ratings, and mark your favorite ones with Serato's new library system. Simply right-click on a crate and mark it as you would. Now for your CDJ settings, here's what I recommend. First, make sure master tempo is activated. Next, set your tempo range to +10%. Next is jog mode. Since I scratch, I keep mine on vinyl. For vinyl speed adjust, if you want a hard stop, set it here. But if you want that vinyl break stop effect, set it here. For jog feel adjust, keep it at the center for balance. Next, this is up to you, but I would keep quantize off for more manual controlled cueing. And finally, make sure direction is set to forward. Now let's move on to the mixer settings. First, set your EQ curve to isolator, then set your channel fader curve to the middle. For crossfader curve, since I scratch, I keep this at sharp. For channel assign, I set the first deck to A and the second deck to B. But if you don't use a crossfader, keep your channels at through. Finally, for effects frequency, this one's optional. But if you want cleaner sounding effects that don't muddy your mix, disable low frequency. And that is it. But if you want to level up your skills even further with your settings, check out this video next.